So this is the misery coming from the body, mind, ego, as we read. All these things which we have around us, they are troubling. We have to eat 3 times a day, especially if you are young, then 4 times. So it says tapatraya, 3 types of misery. And then misery is coming from other people, other living beings, mosquitoes especially, flies, virus, you get into stomach, amoebas, small ones. And then misery is coming from the nature, natural calamity, volcano, earthquake, tsunami, tornado, so there is no end. Therefore it says jivas tapatrayena upahatam shanamur. Living beings, they are suffering these 3 types of miseries here, and they don't find any peace anywhere. Wherever you go, because everywhere there is material nature. So whether you call it karma or you call it time or whatever you call, there is always some trouble. And then he says atman labhante bhagavan stavangri chhayam savidyam. But if someone comes under the shade of your lotus feet, then one can realize oneself. And this misery has a purpose. Why the material world is full of misery? The purpose is that you have to come to realize yourself. And misery is the only thing which can give you an impetus. Otherwise nobody is interested. So much misery, still people are not interested. If it was little more comfortable, then nobody will be interested. So as we know from the story of Lord Buddha, he left his kingdom, palace, because he saw the miseries. And then he thought he has to find a solution for this. So he went away, and then he was, of course, fasting and making more misery for himself. But finally he became enlightened and he found the solution to it. And of course his solution is different. His solution is, he doesn't talk about soul. In Buddhistic philosophy there is no soul. It's only the mind. And if you can make your mind free from thoughts, then you are peaceful. So that is a different path here, the path of surrender or devotion. Therefore they are praying that only by taking shelter of your feet one finds ashraya or shelter. And this is savidyam, along with knowledge, realization. So he is the commentary. Nanu ajnana mulakam samsara dukkham jnanena eva upsamyate. So he is raising one question, that the source of material misery is ignorance. Basically we are suffering because we are ignorant of our true nature. Not ignorance of other things, but ignorance here refers to ignorance of our own self. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantam. So although we are conscious beings, but somehow by the inconceivable power of Lord, Lord's Maya, we have become covered. It's very interesting when you think of it, because usually it seems like an impossibility that if I am a conscious being, then how can I get covered? Because anything which is conscious cannot lose its consciousness. I am soul and my consciousness is eternal, and I have my own consciousness, I consciousness, that I exist. So how can I lose it? It is very difficult to understand this point. Once you know yourself, then how can you forget? It's like you forget yourself that you exist. So even materially speaking, we don't forget our own existence. And if soul has its real I consciousness, real ego, then how it can become covered and then identify with the body? It's very difficult thing to understand. So the only answer which is given here in Bhagavatam is that it is only because of Lord's Maya that the bondage or covering, the only reason for this is Lord's Maya, that Maya can cover. Just like you have this light bulb or anything which has light, even if you cover it from outside, the light itself remains light. Light does not become something else. And this covering has no beginning. So examples are given, it is covered or it is this or it is that. That is just for us to understand. But really speaking, there is no such covering outside the soul as if it is having some kind of a package or anything. The meaning of this statement is that the soul at present is devoid of knowledge. That's what it means. Although it is conscious, but it does not have knowledge about itself. We hear many times that soul is full of knowledge, or soul is Satchidananda. Now it is a fact that soul is Satchidananda, but it does not mean that it has all types of knowledge and it is full of bliss. That's not what it means. All it means is that it is not matter, it is not inert, and it is not unconscious. Really speaking, that's all it means. Otherwise, if it is having knowledge, it cannot lose knowledge. Or if it has bliss, it cannot lose it. That is not possible. So this thing is explained in different words, that it is covered, or Maya has captured it, or it has fallen from somewhere, or it chose to enjoy and then Maya japati adhare, then Maya is immediately catching it. But that's all it means, that it does not have this consciousness. So otherwise the question is raised here that if ignorance is the cause of material misery, then you get knowledge, it should come to an end. Simple. If ignorance is the cause, then you get knowledge that I am not this body, I am a spiritual person, but that also does not solve. So that means there is something more than that. Jnaninam kim bhaktya, and therefore those who are jnanis, who have knowledge, there is no need for them to do bhakti. Why should they do devotion or surrender? Surrendering is also a problem. That you have to give up and you have to serve somebody and you have to bow down to somebody. It's also a problem. Why we have to do that? So this is the question which he is asking. Why bhakti does not become popular? It's only for this reason. And Buddhism is very popular, or impersonalism is very popular. Why bhakti is not popular? Because you have to surrender. And surrendering is problematic for the ego. Because ego does not like that. So more ego, more problem in the path of bhakti. And it is easy for women to do bhakti. It is more natural for women. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that even men have to become women if they want to be devoted. That's Manjari Bhav. They have to have the bhav of a woman, consciousness of a woman. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the consciousness of a woman, Radha consciousness. Krishna takes Radha's consciousness and becomes Chaitanya, because he says that is the way to perform devotion. Because devotion is woman consciousness. And Gyan Marg is man consciousness.
Any specific characteristics?
No specific characteristic, because woman nature is to surrender and man's nature is not to surrender. Nature is like that. So that's why he says Jnaninam kim bhaktya, that why a jnani has to perform bhakti. So then he says Ritait yat pada bhajanam vana asman bhave sansare atman swasmin sambodhanam va sharma na labhante. Says without taking shelter of Krishna, in this material world there is no peace at all. Whether somebody is a jnani or not a jnani. It is not possible. This is Bhagavatam is very, very clear about it. This is the central message of Srimad Bhagavatam from beginning to end. And it keeps on repeating. So many prayers in Bhagavatam. We read prayers of Kunti Devi and Bhisma's prayers. And after that, when Krishna is coming to Dwarka, there are prayers. So full of prayers. And all these prayers are emphasizing on devotion to Krishna. Tatra hetuhu savidyam vidyaya saha vartmanam tavangri chhayayam eva vidya vartate nanyatra. So here in this verse there is a word used which says savidyam angri chhayam, that the knowledge is under the shadow of Krishna's feet. So Krishna's feet also has mark of conch. And conch signifies knowledge, because with conch you make sound. And sound means knowledge. So knowledge comes from him. And without devotion, it is not possible to get knowledge. Therefore, he says that they take shelter of the shadow of your feet, and there is knowledge. So when devotion is there, then knowledge comes naturally, because it is already there, as said in this. Bhaktya vina jnanam eva na siddhyati. He says, without devotion, one cannot have perfect knowledge. If one is not a devotee, then their knowledge is imperfect. It is not complete. Something is missing. And therefore it says, Te mithya jnanina iti bhava. So such people who are called jnani, they are mithya jnani, they are actually false jnanis. And it is a fact. If you read the books of Advaitwad, Shankaracharya and the followers, then and you read Bhagavatam, then you know that their knowledge is not complete. They don't know the complete reality. Therefore the devas, they are praying. And then they further pray, Marganti yatte mukha padma nidai chanda supurnai rishyo vivikte yasyaghamopar upamarda saridvaraya padam padam tirtha padam prapanna. Says that the sages who are renounced, they search for your lotus feet, Bhagavanti. And how they search it? Mukh Padma Nidai Chandas Supernai, with the help of the birds in the form of Vedic mantras, which have come out from the nest in the form of Lord's mount. This Vedic culture has a lot of symbolism in it. It has its own language. So in Bhagavad Gita also we have this verse, Vedansi yasya Chandansi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavit urdhamulam adha shaka ashwatham prahur avyayam. Says that there is one ashwatha tree, imperishable. It has roots up and branches down. So have you seen any tree like this, who has root above and the branches are down? And its leaves are the Vedic mantras. So this is the language of symbols. So here also he says that there are birds. Chanda also means beautiful. Beautiful birds. These sages, they are searching the feet of the Lord with the help of birds. So previously, when there was no internet, then some people used to keep pigeons for sending messages. These pigeons were trained, and if you have to send a message to another city or town, then you release the pigeon and you tie the message to the feet of the pigeon. And the pigeon will fly and go to that place and give the message and come back. So birds, they fly in the sky. The Vedas are also compared to birds, because Veda is the sound. This is the symbolism behind it. And sound travels in the sky, in space. And the birds also travel in the space. So therefore, Krishna or Vishnu, he is riding on Garuda. Right? And Garuda is a bird. But actually Garuda is Veda personified. And he has two wings. And these are the two parts of the Samveda. One is Rathantar and other is, I think, Ved Sam. Samveda has two divisions. So this is the bird which is flying, and God is sitting on the back of this bird. Means God comes through the Vedic knowledge and he is going around. And then Vedas are teaching about sacrifice. Right? Sahagya Prajasrashtva Puravacha Prajapati. So Lord created along with yagya, sacrifice. So means that by doing sacrifice you will get God. That is the message of the Vedas. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha. So the purpose of sacrifice is Vasudeva, Krishna, to realize him. Because ultimately we have to sacrifice ourselves. And then that is the biggest sacrifice, surrendering our own self to Krishna. And that is the message of the Vedas. So Vedas are going in a very long, roundabout way, doing fire sacrifice. But they want to give the message of our own sacrifice. And this knowledge comes from the Vedic bird. The Vedas in the form of birds. And he said that these birds, they have their nest in the mouth of the Lord. Why? Because the Vedas came out from his mouth. So just like the birds, where are they born? In the nest. Then they grow up and they fly. And after flying, they again come back. So Krishna's face is compared to a nest, and it is lotus, Mukh Padma, lotus face or lotus mouth. So in the lotus flower there are other bees or other birds may also go to get some honey, but they don't come and live there, nor they come out of it. But these are the birds which have come out from this nest of lotus flower. And that means this is also their resting place. Which means that the Vedas, they have come out from Krishna's mouth and they are meant to lead you back to him. Therefore he says that Marganti yatte mukh padmanidais chandas suparnai rishiyor vivikte. That the sages, they are searching for you, O Lord, with the help of these birds in the form of Vedic mantras. Because the Rishi means one who has realized the Vedic mantra. Rishiya mantra drashtar. Who is a Rishi? Rishi is a technical word. Means who knows the Vedic mantra properly, who actually sees the Vedic mantra as a person. These Vedic mantras are personalities. He is not just hearing the Vedic mantra, but he sees it. That's why it's called Rishi. Mantra drashta means he sees the mantra, not that he hears it. And with that, therefore they know the mantra of the Lord. And what do they do? Yasya aghama uparda saridavaraya padam padam tirtha pada prapanna. So with this they reach to the lotus feet of the Lord, which are called tirtha pada. So tirtha means holy place. So Lord's feet are called tirtha because from there comes the river Ganga. Ganga river came from Krishna's feet. And Saridvaraya Padam. And with Ganga one can reach the feet Because if there is some wire tied to the your door of your house, and then that wire is going 1 kilometer away, I don't see your house, I don't even know where your house, but if I catch that wire and I walk along with it, then I will reach your house, isn't it? So Ganga is coming from the feet of Krishna, and if we take shelter of the Ganga, then it will lead us back to Krishna's feet. That's why in India people worship Ganga. They do arti to the Ganga, they take bath, they worship, they do achman with its water, because by taking shelter of Ganga one can reach Krishna. So that's why it is called Tirthapada Prapanna. So then they will go to from Ganga to the feet of Krishna. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur he comments, Kinchat tvaya kripaya swacharana kamala sakshat praptiyartham sukha sopana dvayam yan nirmitam tad ashritya yetva charno didrikshante teva buddhimanta teva vastav jnanina itya. So he says that you have created two paths or two types of stairs which lead to the feet of the Lord. One is Ganga. This is the importance of India, because India has Ganga, and Ganga is coming directly from Krishna's feet. When Krishna came as Vamana Dev and he was measuring the world with his feet, so he measured, and when he took 2 steps, he measured the whole universe in 2 steps, and when his feet was going up to Brahma Loka, then Lord Brahma, he had his Kamandala, so he put that water on his feet and washed it, and then took that water in his Kamandala, that became Ganga. So then Ganga from there was brought down from the heavenly planet to earth by Bhagirath, because his forefathers were burned by Kapila Muni. So that's how Ganga came to earth from heaven. So he says that he has made 2 ladders, one of them is Ganga. Kripya, out of his grace, Swacharana Kamala Sakshat, directly having the lotus feet. So lotus also grows in the water. Tadatri ashritya. So if one takes shelter of this te tvacharno didrikshante, then they desire to see the feet of the Lord. Such people are considered as intelligent and vastav jnanina. In the previous verse he explained that these people who do not take to devotion, they are false jnanis. They are not real jnani. But those who take shelter of Ganga or shelter of your devotion, then they are the real jnanis. Marganti yat tadeva tirthapada. And what are the searching? It says they are searching your feet. Tav padam vayam prapanna, that we are surrendered to your feet. Kai marganti, how do they search? Chandah suparnair veda pakshibhi. That they are searching you with the help of the birds of the Vedas. Like if you have to look for water, in the olden days when people were in the forest tending cows, water is not that there were wells available. and they feel thirsty, and if they are new to place, then they go and go on the top of a tree and see if there are any birds around, because birds are near the water. So by seeing the bird, they go and they find the water. So Tirtha also means holy place, and holy places have water, like Vrindavan. There is Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, Kusum Sarovar, everywhere. Vrindavan there is Yamuna and Govind Kund. So with the help of these birds of the Vedas, you reach the Tirtha in the form of Krishna's feet. Tavaiva Mukpadvam Nidam Yeshamte. And these birds have their resting place in Lord's mouth. Yatha Niraspade Dese Vishramartham Vrikshatalaanveshino Jana Itastatah Charatam Pakshinam Anupadam Dhavanta Sayam Swanidam Pravishatam Tesam Aspadi Bhutasya Vrikshasya Talam Prapnuvanti. So he is giving an example that suppose you are in desert and there are no trees there. Desert, obviously there is sand. And you are looking for some tree where you can rest. So what do? That you see the birds in the evening, which side they are flying. And birds are flying up in the sky and you are running behind them. Because the birds will go and take rest in their nest. And the nest is on the tree. So this way you will find a tree. And then you can take rest in it. So just as by the help of these birds they can find a tree, in the same way, with the help of the Vedic birds, the sages find Krishna's lotus mouth, which has the nest of the Vedas. तथा त्वन्मुखाद् गतानां पुनस्त्वय्येव पर्यवसितानां वेदानां तात्पर्यम् अवधार्य तेनैव त्वां भजन्तस्त्वां प्राप्नुवन्ति इति एकं सोपानम् उक्त्वा. So what is the essence of all this? He says the essence is that the Vedas has come out from your mouth and they go back to you, which means that the conclusion of the Vedas is also in Krishna. Vasudeva Paraveda. What is the essence of the Vedas? Essence of the Veda is Krishna. Vedaisya sarvair ahameva vedya. From all the Vedas I am to be known. This is the meaning of this symbolism. That birds have their nest in Krishna's mouth. Means they are coming from there and then they are going back. Means they are coming out and then they are leading people back to that. That is the purpose. So Vedas may speak of so many different things, but their ultimate purpose is to teach about Krishna, to teach about devotion to Krishna and lead people back to Krishna, from where the Vedas have come. This is the meaning of this whole allegory. So he says that people understand this conclusion of the Vedas, then they worship the Lord, surrender to Him, and they attain Him. So this is, he says, one path or one ladder to reach God. Then he said that there are two. There is other one. He says, Dvitiyam Sopana Mahu. What is the second path? Aghamarsam Aghanasakam Udkam Yasam Saritam Tasu Varaya Gangaya Padam Udgam Sthan. The second one is Ganga. Ganga's water is supposed to be pure, that if you take bath in Ganga, you become free from all sins. Ganga Gangeti Yobruyat Sapamapi Yojnat. That if you say Ganga Ganga, from 800 kilometers away from Ganga, you become free from the sins. That is the power of Ganga. So in Bhagavatam also it is said, Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Susruso Shraddhadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. That how do you get taste to hear about Krishna Katha? Either you serve a devotee or you serve Ganga. So this is the second path made, and therefore Ganga is called here as Aghamarsham, means which destroys the sins. And Saritam Tasu Varaya, this is the best of the rivers. Udgam Sthanam Ganga Manuseva Mana Api Tad Udgam Sthanam Tvatpadam Prapnavanti. And by serving Ganga, you will reach the source of Ganga, which is Krishna's feet. So these two processes explained. And the third, next prayer, it says Yat Shraddhaya Shrutvatya Cha Bhaktya Samrijyamane Hridaya Vadhaya Jnanena Vairagya Balena Dhira Vrajema Tattengri Saroja Pitham. It says by having faith in you, hearing and devotion, the devotees, they take shelter of you and they purify their heart and become fixed. So we are also taking shelter of the same feet of the Supreme Lord. So the important thing which are mentioned here is there is Shraddha, Yat Shraddhaya. Because unless there is Shraddha or faith in God, one will not hear about Him. Why would one hear about God? There are so many things to hear. Now you can go on television. There are hundreds of channels, free. They are not charging you anything. Usually you have to go somewhere, attend a class or seminar, you have to pay. But you go and watch TV, no money needed. Or you can go on YouTube, you can millions and millions of hours you can watch for the rest of your life. So it says Yat Shraddhaya, that because of Shraddha, then Shrutvatya Cha Bhaktya, then bhakti begins by hearing, Shravanam, Samrijyamane Hridaya Vadhaya, and then by doing this, the heart becomes purified by hearing. Hearing is very, very powerful process. Just by hearing, our heart becomes cleansed. And Jnanena Vairagya Balena Dhira. Then when heart is purified, then there is knowledge and there is naturally detachment to materialistic activities. So he says this is what the Dhira or resolute people, they do that. So he says that we are also taking shelter of that very feet. Actually he says Angri Saroja Pitham, or the table on which Krishna's feet are kept. Like the kings when they sit on their throne, and they have a small table on which they keep their feet. So that is called Padapitham. If you go to temples in South India, then they have a round thing. On top they can hold. We call it Chadhari, right? So when you go, then the Pujari, he will take it and he will When you have to bow down, he put it on your head. So that Chandhari is actually supposed to be Padapita. It's supposed to be on which Lord puts his feet.
So that they put on the head of everybody.
Yeah, giving blessing. So you go there, and this is the blessing of the Lord. Because you cannot touch the deity. So you take the Chandhari on your head. So it is as good as Lord is touching his feet on your head. It is a blessing. So they are also saying Tatte Angri Saroja Pitham Prajema. That we are also taking this on our head, this Chandhari. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says Kinchat Tebhyopi Keval Bhakti Matra Ashrayana Shresthaitya. Says out of this different type of people, those who take shelter only of pure devotion, they are better. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mayi eva man adhatsva, Mayi buddhim niveshaya. So this is the pure devotion, that fix your mind on me and intelligence on me. So therefore that is described in this verse. Yattav padam shrutam guru mukhopdishtam bhajana vartma vartate yasyam taya bhaktya. So he says first a person has faith, then he goes to the Guru and hears from the Guru the process of worshipping or serving the Lord. And bhaktya sahirdaya eva avadhaya anubhuya. And then with devotion he realizes the Lord in the heart. Sahirdaya eva avadhaya labdhena jnanena. So then there is knowledge. Because if he is realized, then there is realization, is knowledge. Tan madhurya aswada rupena. So this is the knowledge of tasting the beauty of the Lord. Idrishena vairagyasya sarvatra vaitrishnasya balam yasmat. And then naturally there is dispassion in such a person. He is not interested in enjoying anything anymore. Because if he is relishing the beauty of the Lord within his heart, what is the need for him to enjoy anything? And he says that this is his strength. Then he is very strong. And such a person is called Dhira. Dhira means fixed. Not that mind is wavering. Today one resolution, tomorrow another resolution, and no solution, only dissolution. So solution is when you dissolve things together and make a solution. Right? And for that you have to have a resolution. So this person becomes fixed, then he is very stable. Akke chain madhu vindet kimartham parvatam brajet iti nyayena purvamiva vedadi anveshna shramanto na bhavanti. So there is one principle that akke chain madhu vindet, that if you can get honey in your backyard, means you have got some honey boxes where your honeybees coming and putting up their beehive, and honey is available nicely, then why you have to go to the forest searching for honey? Because previously people used to go to forest and look for beehives and then get honey from there. So akkeche and madhu vindet kimartham parvatam rajet. Why go to the forest or mountain looking for honey when it's available in the back. Yeah. In the Kadamba Dalan. Because Kadamba also gives very nice fragrant flowers, and then there is honeybees coming and they make beehive. So therefore he says that these people then don't have to search the path of the Vedas. Vedadi Anveshnam Sramvanto na bhavanti. That is laborious process. Study of the Vedas and chanting of the mantras and sacrifice and this and that. Simply hearing and chanting and doing bhajan as instructed by the guru or teacher, then one realizes Krishna and becomes knowledgeable. So this is the path of pure devotion. I'll stop here.
About this jnani who are fake because they don't have devotion. But if a jnani has devotion, then
Then he becomes a devotee.
becomes a devotee. So there is no more jnani, there is devotee. So there is no such a
Becomes a
thing.
jnani bhakta.
Shukadev, Goswami, what's a jnana?
He is also devotee. Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. As jnani, he became a devotee. So become devotee. ठीक है.
Another question about this solution or resolution. About this surrender. Surrender is a resolution, right? Which is a solution. I mean, somebody has to take the resolution that, okay, I want to surrender to God. But, so it starts with this having faith. What you told.
Without faith, how can you make result? Without faith, there is doubt. When there is doubt, there is no resolution. Resolution means you don't have doubt, and only can be resolute.